Hello, welcome to the Guggenheim Bilboa discussion. My name is Mrs. Moore, and I am here with
Mrs. Wyatt.
Let's go ahead and let's talk about the artist. So, the artist here is Frank Gehry, and the historical period is contemporary. The materials and techniques. This was made with titanium, limestone, glass, and steel. The intended purpose, it is a satellite of the original Guggenheim that is in New York City. It was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright, and the original had outgrown its collections, and having satellites expanded the museum's reach and would be funded by a foreign government. So basically, this is an extension of the original Guggenheim building. The patron was an intended audience. So our patron is Thomas Krenz, and he's the museum director who had the idea to expand. And then our intended audience would be, the patron would also be part of the foreign countries that were funding. And then the intended audience would be a global audience and tourists specifically too. So Mrs. Wyatt's going to go ahead and talk about the questions.
So the first one is, prior to the mid-20th century, how were art museums designed? So we'll go up and look at an old idea. Everything was neoclassical. So everything is going to have like a pediment on it, and then it's going to have the colonnade on it. And then another thing that's very common in a neoclassical building is the rotunda. So if you're wondering about the rotunda, the easiest way to think about it is if you've been to the Capitol for the state of Texas, they have a wonderful rotunda that's that circular right as you come through the door entranceway that gives you this whole idea, and the Star of Texas is there, and it's just really, really beautiful. So number two is, what did Kearns urge Gehry to do with the design of the Guggenheim in Bilboa? And it was to make it better than Wright. So Wright's building of the Guggenheim, let's scroll up to it. I mean, this was a very unusual building during the time. This is just breaking all of the rules. And so he wanted him to outdo him. And so number three is, what style of architecture does Gehry's Guggenheim design evoke? Well, let's look at his design first and see how it looks like it's ribbons that are all flowing. This is the interior. This is actually kind of an atrium that is very similar to, it's not really the rotunda, but it's another area. And this one is called the snake. And then this one is more like the rotunda. And what happens with this is that it's several stories tall, and then all of the galleries come off of this. So it's a very easy access to get to all of the galleries that happen. So it's definitely breaking the bounds of straight angular lines that so often were used in museums. But we're going to look at the Italian Baroque. So we'll look at San Carlo here. So when you look at San Carlo, and this is old, this is like 16th century, I think.
Mhm.
And you can see that the one side doesn't even match the other side. And then you have a lot of the flowing, that it goes in and it goes out. And so that idea of the Baroque is definitely something that you're going to see in Gehry's. And that is going to finish up our discussion.
I hope that you enjoyed.